The engines are revving up and the drivers are ready to hit the gas pedal for this qualifying session at Laguna Seca OSRW.
We're about to witness some serious heart as they battle it out for a chance at the front of the starting grid.
Joni Geldenhuys is on their out lap. Joni Geldenhuys is driving through turn 3. It looks like Ernest Heather is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. Ernest Heather is looking relatively composed going through turn 3.
I have always loved this section of the track.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Peter Geldenhuys is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run.
It's a delicate balance between taking it easy and pushing hard. Let's see how Peter Geldenhuys handles it.
Peter Geldenhuys appears focused and prepared driving through turn 3. You can feel the tension building. Jamie Nichols is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time. Jamie Nichols is driving through turn 10. Jamie Nichols has completed their out lap. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Richard Reshka is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right. Richard Reshka is looking relatively composed going through turn 5.
There's a spot near here where the teenagers sneak off to make out.
The adrenaline is pumping. Peter Geldenhuys is on their out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
This is the moment they've been preparing for. Let's see if they can execute.
Peter Geldenhuys appears focused and prepared driving through turn 3. Jacobus Besson is on their out lap. Jacobus Besson is driving through turn 10. It looks like Peter Geldenhuys is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. Peter Geldenhuys is looking relatively composed going through turn 10.
Spectators near here can smell the smoke wafting from nearby grills.
As Peter Geldenhuys completes their out lap, they will be hoping they have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Ernest Heather appears focused and prepared driving through the corkscrew. This is where the mental game comes into play. Dylan Bisagy is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run. Dylan Bisagy is driving through rainy curve. Ernest Heather is looking for ways to improve their consistency.
Well, Carol, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
Ernest Heather is looking relatively composed going through turn 5. It's clear that Dylan Bisagy is pushing their car to the very edge of traction on this qualifying lap.
Let's see if they can put a good marker down.
Jamie Nichols is up minus 0.86. Jamie Nichols will be happy having put themselves into 5th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Jamie Nichols appears focused and prepared driving through turn 3. Ernest Heather is trying to find that extra performance. Ernest Heather is driving through turn 6. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Jacobus Basson is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused, while also pushing the limits.
Jacobus Basson is looking relatively composed going through rainy curve. Ernest Heather appears focused and prepared driving through turn 3. Jacobus Basson is looking for ways to improve their consistency.
Every driver needs something different, Carol. Some drivers excel when they push harder, while other drivers benefit more from relaxing and being in a flow state.
Jacobus Basson is driving through turn 5. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Dylan Bisagy is looking relatively composed going through turn 6.
There's not much better than sitting near here and watching the cars speed by.
It seems like Dylan Bisagy is struggling, currently 0.91 off their best pace. Jacobus Basson is trying to find that extra performance. Ernest Heather is looking for ways to improve their consistency. Ernest Heather appears focused and prepared driving through turn 4.
I have always loved this section of the track.
Jacobus Basson is up -0.15.
Well, Carol, it seems like Jacobus Basson has got the need for speed and nothing is going to stop him now.
Jacobus Basson is driving through turn 6. Jamie Nichols is up -26.55. JP Brand is trying to find that extra performance.
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
JP Brand is looking relatively composed going through turn 3.
There's a spot near here where the teenagers sneak off to make out.
You can feel the tension building. Rian Barkhuizen is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time. Rian Barkhuizen appears focused and prepared driving through rainy curve. The adrenaline is pumping. Jamie Nichols is on their out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
They will want to get a good gap established for their first flying lap.
Jamie Nichols is driving through turn 3. Dylan Bizaji is looking for ways to improve their consistency.
Good question, Carol. It's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
Dylan Bizaji will be happy having put themselves into first in this qualifying session. Dylan Bizaji is trying to find that extra performance going through turn 5. Rian Barkhuizen is on their first flying lap. That's the out lap done for Rian Barkhuizen. They'll now look to focus on their first flying lap. A mesmerizing display from Dylan Bizaji in this qualifying session. They have left everyone in awe with their speed and precision. Currently leading the pack, they are setting the standard and sending a clear message to their competitors. Dylan Bizaji will be happy having put themselves into first in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I'm sure they can find a little extra in there.
Impressive display by Richard Reshka, currently sitting in position 4. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position. Ernest Heather has positioned themselves well in 7th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. Ernest Heather has some work to do, as that 1:30.324 is only good enough for 7th. Impressive work from Peter Geldenhuys, who has claimed 6th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position.
I couldn't agree more, Carol. Peter Geldenhuys has done a fantastic job to claim 6th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Peter Geldenhuys' incredible drive by Ernest Heather so far, earning them 7th. The competition is fierce, however, and they will need to quickly find more time to get even closer to the sharp end of the grid. Ernest Heather is now up -0.17 in turn 10.
Ernest Heather needs all the focus and resolve they can muster to maintain this pace.
There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Laguna Seca OSRW, as we're getting ready to get things underway. JP Brand is holding down the fort in 2nd place. Lining up in 3rd is Johnny Geldenhuys.
Big things expected for Johnny Geldenhuys today.
As the drivers prepare to take off, Richard Reshka sits in 4th place on the starting grid. Jamie Nichols will begin the race from the 5th spot on the starting grid. Starting from 6th on the grid is a good position for Peter Geldenhuys to launch an attack. The moment we've been waiting for has arrived. The green flag is on.
This is where the true test of a driver's skill comes into play. It's all about finding the right line and carrying as much speed as possible through the turn.
The drivers will need to be precise and calculated if they want to make it through this section unscathed.
And with so many cars jostling for position, it's a real test of nerve as well. One wrong move and you could be out of the race before it even really gets started.
That's right. The pressure is really on these drivers to perform. Every lap is an opportunity for Dylan Gt to learn just a little bit more to shave a few tenths or hundredths off their times. Rian Barkhuizen is tearing up the track, making up positions like they're going out of style.
It's too early to count chickens just yet. Carol, a race isn't won in the first lap, but I've seen plenty end there.
This is going to be one hell of a race. I can already feel it. Drivers are looking for anything that could give them an advantage.
The drivers will be jostling for the best position, Carol. Some of them may not make it to the second lap in one piece.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Jamie Nichols trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Joni Geldenhuis. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. The crowd is on its feet as Dylan Gt chases down JP Brand through turn 4.
If Dylan Gt pushes too hard, they might find themselves exploring the scenic route, and nobody's got time for sightseeing during a race.
There's not much to report on from JP Brand at the moment. They're just keeping their head down and putting in consistent laps. Look at that. They're trading places in every turn, a constant game of cat and mouse. Each driver knows one mistake could cost them dearly.
Exactly, Carol. It's like a high-stakes chess match on wheels. These drivers are analyzing every move and trying to anticipate their opponent's next move. It's a true test of their mental acuity.
Richard Reshka wants to get into Joni Geldenhuis' slipstream. The delta between Jamie Nichols in third and JP Brand remains over a second, but Jamie Nichols is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 3 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Jamie Nichols in third determined to catch up. But we know JP Brand isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Jamie Nichols is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
The tension is building as Richard Reshka trails behind Joni Geldenhuis. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Joni Geldenhuis is pushing to maintain the lead, while Richard Reshka is working to close in and challenge for the position. Jamie Nichols is on a mission, chasing JP Brand, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Hold on a moment. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. Jamie Nichols is running third. They are trying to catch JP Brand. A brilliant maneuver from Jamie Nichols, who has just moved up the field. As a former racing driver, Carl, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Carol. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
Richard Reschke has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Joni Geldenhuys. I expect their only hope at this point is that Joni Geldenhuys makes an error. It's true what they say, Carl, you're never completely useless.
Indeed, Carol, you can always be used as a bad example. They've been focusing so hard on maintaining their position, and now they've slipped back in the field. Meanwhile, Richard Reschke has been making some great moves and is now on the charge.
It's all about consistency for Ernest Heather, who is currently ninth.
Definitely, but they can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers who are gunning for that position, and Ernest Heather has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
It looks like Richard Reschke is pushing hard to catch up to Jamie Nichols. That's not a small gap, but Richard Reschke has what it takes to challenge for the position.
This is where experience comes into play. Jamie Nichols has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Richard Reschke is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Richard Reschke gaining places and Jamie Nichols losing them.
Absolutely, Richard Reschke is showing great pace and determination, but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
Looks like we might have a great battle starting here between Jamie Nichols in third and Richard Reschke. It's been tense with a gap of only 0.3 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Richard Reschke to make up that gap, especially with Jamie Nichols defending so well.
Things are heating up as Richard Reschke tries to close the gap to Jamie Nichols.
I would not be surprised if they get this pass completed soon.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Peter Geldenhuys trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Richard Reschke. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Richard Reschke, who is currently in P4. But Jamie Nichols is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Richard Reschke.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Jamie Nichols is not going to give up the position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Richard Reschke and P4 doing everything they can to catch up.
Things don't seem to be going Peter Geldenhuys' way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Richard Reschke in fourth chases after Jamie Nichols. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Richard Reschke needs to find a way to close the gap.
It's going to be tough for Richard Reschke, as Jamie Nichols seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Richard Reschke pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Jamie Nichols is holding third, but Richard Reschke is right on their tail. The race is really heating up. Richard Reschke is hunting down Jamie Nichols with everything they've got. It's game on now. Richard Reschke has closed the gap to Jamie Nichols. It's now down to 0.3 seconds.
This is what racing is all about, hard-fought battles with as much determination as respect, between friends and enemies alike.
And Richard Reschke has just won the place from Jamie Nichols.
Yes, but Richard Reschke can't rest on their laurels. They have to keep pushing to consolidate their position.
The gap between Jamie Nichols and Peter Geldenhuys is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Jamie Nichols to even allow Peter Geldenhuys to get a look in.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Peter Geldenhuys is going to have to get more serious with practice if they don't want to be outclassed on the circuit.
It's an intense battle for position as Jamie Nichols tries to outmaneuver Richard Reshka. This is edge-of-your-seat racing. It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Peter Geldenhuys as they have a big gap ahead of them to close at this point in time. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Jamie Nichols is chasing Richard Reshka in P3.
The racing is getting tight between Jamie Nichols and Richard Reshke as they battle for P3. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Peter Geldenhuys trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jamie Nichols. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Peter Geldenhuys tries to reel in Jamie Nichols. But Jamie Nichols is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Peter Geldenhuys needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Jamie Nichols and move up the field.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Jamie Nichols will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Jamie Nichols is pushing hard and has reduced the— Hold on a moment. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. Look at that. Jamie Nichols is hot on the tail of Richard Reshka. What a move. Jamie Nichols has moved up to third. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
At this rate, Johnny Geldenhuys and Peter Geldenhuys are so close, they could share a cup of tea and a biscuit.
It seems like Johnny Geldenhuys is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace. Looks like Peter Geldenhuys is coming in hot. They're approaching that turn way too fast. Fantastic racing on show here today, and it's not just the top drivers who are impressing us. Even the drivers at the back of the pack are putting up a good fight, battling it out for every position.
It's a testament to the level of competition at Simspeed Motorsports. Even the smallest mistake can cost you valuable seconds, or even lead to a crash. But these drivers are up to the challenge, and they're giving it their all. It's clear that Simspeed Motorsports really is the place to be for top quality racing.
The tension is building as Jamie Nichols trails behind Richard Reshka. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Richard Reshka is pushing to maintain the lead, while Jamie Nichols is working to close in and challenge for the position. It's like Dylan Visage has saved all their energy for this final stretch.
They're not leaving anything on the
And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Dylan Visage. Some might say that second place is the first loser, but Richard Reshka certainly doesn't see it that way. They put in a phenomenal effort and should be proud of their impressive result. Impressive drive from Jamie Nichols to claim the final spot on the podium. 4th, 5th, and 6th is Johnny Geldenhuys, Peter Geldenhuys, and Jacobus Besson. Rian Barkhuizen takes 7th. Ernest Heather in 8th. Finishing 9th is JP Brand. Things underway. We're seeing Ernest Heather in the second spot.
Let's see what Ernest Heather can do.
Starting from the third position on the grid, we have Rian Barkhuizen.
Starting from here, Rian Barkhuizen may already have expectations of a podium finish.
And in the fourth position, it's none other than Jacobus Besson.
Another good start for the South African driver.
Taking off from the fifth grid slot is the skilled driver, Peter Geldenhuys.
Peter Geldenhuys will be expecting to bring home solid points.
The green flag is waving and we're off to the races. Let's see if we can get out in front to establish an early lead.
This is where the real racecraft comes into play. The drivers will be looking for any opportunity to make a move and gain an advantage.
It's all about finding those gaps and making the most of them, especially in these early stages of the race.
And with so many talented drivers on the grid, you know we're going to see some incredible overtakes here in the first sector.
It's not just about making a move, it's about doing it cleanly and without causing any incidents. Races are often more about maintaining consistency than having outright pace, but it doesn't hurt to have a little good luck every now and then. such a full grid here today.
The first lap can always be a bit of a melee as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. It's been a solid race so far for Dylan Gt. They're holding their position and keeping a steady pace.
Consistency is key in racing. Dylan Gt just needs to keep doing what they're doing and wait for opportunities to present themselves.
It's a solid performance from Johnny Geldenhuis at the moment. They're holding their position and not getting too caught up in battles around them.
Sometimes that's all it takes to secure a good result. Johnny Geldenhuis just needs to stay focused and avoid any mistakes.
Jamie Nichols is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Jamie Nichols is really walking that fine line.
Dylan Gt is giving it their all as they chase down Jamie Nichols in P4.
It's a game of strategy now as Dylan Gt hunts down Jamie Nichols. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown. Superb driving from Johnny Geldenhuis, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
You can't argue with results like that. Johnny Geldenhuis is really making their mark on this race.
Anyone who says that Simspeed Motorsports is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track is absolutely phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. It's like these drivers were born to race. They're weaving in and out of traffic, taking corners at unbelievable speeds, and making it all look effortless. It's clear that they've put in the time and effort to hone their skills.
The pressure is on for Johnny Geldenhuis as they try to catch up to Dylan Gt.
We'll have to wait to see if Johnny Geldenhuis can use the draft to their advantage, or if the lack of doubt.
Stop the press. Oh dear, Johnny Geldenhuis has had an incident. This is where the race gets really interesting. Jamie Nichols is closing in on Richard Rushka. The delta between Johnny Geldenhuis in third and Dylan Gt remains over a second, but Johnny Geldenhuis is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 4 minutes left in this session to make that happen. This is a thrilling battle as Jamie Nichols edges closer to Richard Rushka in their fight for P5. Great driving from Jamie Nichols, who has just gained a place and moved up to 5th.
Yes, Jamie Nichols is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride, and I for one look forward to future advancements in AI technology.
Apparently we are— Stop the press. Oh dear, Johnny Geldenhuis has had an incident. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. strong showing from Ernest Heather, who is currently 6th. It looks like Rian Barthuizen is starting to catch up to Ernest Heather. The gap is now down to 1.2 seconds. Oh, this is getting intense. Jamie Nick braking development. Looks like that's a mistake from Peter Geldenhuys. This could be costly. As they speed through turn 5, Jamie Nichols is relentlessly pursuing Richard Reschke in a high-stakes battle for position.
And the drivers know it too, Carol. They're giving it everything they've got, and you can see them pushing the limits of the car's capabilities.
The race is heating up as Ernest Heather in 6th closes in on Jamie Nichols. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
That's right, Ernest Heather in 6th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Jamie Nichols is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
It's a battle out there. Each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. Jamie Nichols is on a charge. Their split time shows they have upped their pace. It's a battle of wills out there, with Ernest Heather trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Jamie Nichols. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. The pursuit is on. Jamie Nichols is closing the gap on Richard Reschke, determined to claim P4.
This is where every inch counts. Jamie Nichols is pushing hard to close the gap on Richard Reschke. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Richard Reschke, who is currently in P6. But Ernest Heather is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Richard Reschke.
Absolutely, Richard Reschke in 6th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Looks like Ernest Heather is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control. Ernest Heather needs to focus if they want to make a move and pass Jamie Nichols.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Richard Reschke trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Ernest Heather. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Ernest Heather is not going to give up the position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Richard Reschke in P6 doing everything they can to catch up.
Impressive stuff from Ernest Heather, who has managed to pull away from Richard Reschke, leaving them in choking in their exhaust fumes. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Richard Reschke will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
This is where experience comes into play. Ernest Heather has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Richard Reschke is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
The battle for 4 is heating up as Ernest Heather tries to catch Jamie Nichols in P4. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Richard Reschke in 6th chases after Ernest Heather. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Richard Reschke needs to find a way to close the gap. Seems like Jamie Nichols is getting in range of Ernest Heather. A tough moment for Jamie Nichols, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to 6th.
Definitely, but Jamie Nichols is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
During your racing career, Carl, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Carol, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
Even though Jamie Nichols is a fair way behind Richard Reschke, they can't afford to let their guard down. Richard Reschke is still vulnerable to mistakes. Impressive driving from Richard Reschke, who has managed to extend their lead over Jamie Nichols. They are walking away at this point, and Jamie Nichols will have to wait to fight another day.
That's a really strong performance from Richard Reschke. They're not giving Jamie Nichols any chances to catch up.
The tension is building as Jamie Nichols trails behind Richard Reschke. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Richard Reschke is pushing to maintain the lead, while Jamie Nichols is working to close in and challenge for the position.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Jamie Nichols in 6th determined to catch up. But we know Richard Reschke isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Jamie Nichols is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Wow, Richard Reschke is really pushing hard to catch up to Ernest Heather. There's blood in the water for 4th place. The race is heating up as Jamie Nichols in 6th closes in on Richard Reschke. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Jamie Nichols tries to reel in Richard Reschke. But Richard Reschke is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Jamie Nichols needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Richard Reschke and move up the field.
JP Brandt is on fire in the last sector.
You got this, keep your cool.
And there it is. JP Brandt has completed the race in 1st place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match. Dylan Visage never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved 2nd place finish.
Strong work securing 2nd place. Well done.
What a race from Joni Geldenhuys. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned 3rd place on the podium.
Fantastic result.
Ernest Heather, Richard Reschke, Jamie Nichols, and Rian Barkhuizen claim 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. With Peter Geldenhuys in 8th.